What's up guys, Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lantern, bringing you guys our week 7 team builder for the League of Extraordinary Trainers. This week we are taking on Coach Orzan and the Westbrook Wartortles. It's going to be a really fun match. I'm looking forward to it. Just a heads up, we are now into bracket 3, so I did choose some new Z captains, those being Magerna and Licky Licky, so we went back to the same captains that we had in bracket 1. Bracket 2, we obviously had Manaphy as our Z captain instead of Magerna. We did also make some drops. Echo, one of those two. The owner of the league dropped Nidoking, so I picked up Nidoking, and we dropped Dhelmise. And I also dropped Rhydon and picked up Tangela because I needed a good grass type after I dropped Dhelmise, and I figured Tangela is just as bulky, can get like sleep powder and stuff like that, and I figured with Nidoking I replaced my hazard setting anyways, so this is fine. Basically all I lost was a ghost typing, and another hazard remover. But my team doesn't really rely on hazard removal in the first place, so I think this is probably okay. Yeah, so let's get into Orzan's team here. Oh, actually, he did make a drop this week too that I'll talk about right now. He did drop Cobalion for Necrozma, losing a bunch of speed and picking up about the same kind of mon, to be completely honest. Necrozma is maybe a little bit more threatening for teams with a psychic weakness, but I think Cobalion was better against my team than Necrozma is, so that's, you give and you take. So Orzan has Landorus Incarnate, Tapu Fini, Necrozma, Alakazam, Chestnut, Jolteon, Trevenant, Hitmonchan, Golisopod, Mega Scizor, and Incineroar, with his Z captains for this bracket being Alakazam and Trevenant. Trevenant I can only assume is because of Z Forest's Curse. We do allow Omni Boosts in this league, and Z Forest Cursed is an Omni Boost for Trevenant. His priority. He has priority in Jolteon with Quick Attack, Hitmonchan with Mach Punch, Golisopod with First Impression, Sucker Punch, and Aqua Jet, Mega Scizor with Bullet Punch, and Incineroar with Fake Out. He has Hazard setting in Landorus Incarnate with Stealth Rocks, Necrozma with Stealth Rocks, Chestnut with Spikes, and Golisopod with Spikes. And he has Hazard removal in Fini with Defog, Hitmonchan with Rapid Spin, and Mega Scizor with Defog. He has 4 times weaknesses in Landorus Incarnate to Ice and Mega Scizor to Fire. So we are going to try and pick on those 4 times weaknesses a little bit, especially for Mega Scizor, because that thing is bulky as hell, and it's really hard to break through if you can't abuse the 4 times weaknesses. So let's get into our team real quick here. We're starting off with Magerna, Cade, loving to be back as a Z captain, rocking the Ice EMZ just like week 1. We got Ice Beam, Shift Gear, Flash Cannon, and Hidden Power Fire. Ice Beam hits the Landorus Incarnate for super effective damage, it hits the Trevenant for super effective damage, it hits the Chestnut for super effective damage. Shift Gear because this is absolutely the best set, and it's been what I've run every single time. I also don't really need it to be a special wall, considering he's got some really good physical threats. Flash Cannon is good neutral damage against everything. I don't think it's super effective against anything in particular, to be completely honest with you. It's really just really good stab. Yeah, that's pretty much the reason why we have Flash Cannon there. Hidden Power Fire is super effective against the Mega Scizor. I might change out Flash Cannon now that I'm thinking about it to something a little bit better. Shadow Ball is good against his team, so we're going to change Flash Cannon to Shadow Ball real quick, because it's good against his team. We are running 248 speed Timid. This lets us outspeed Scarfed Landorus I at +2. So once we get a Shift Gear up, we are outspeeding Scarfed Landorus Incarnate by 1 point. I believe that would be the fastest thing he brings against me. I don't really see him needing to bring Scarfed Alakazam when it outspeeds everything naturally bar Selgor. Same with Jolteon. I really think Scarfed Jolteon is kind of wasting its talents, and you'd be more likely to run things like Specs on Jolteon. We have Hidden Power Fire IVs, so we're not getting maximum special attack because we can't hit 182 even with 252 IVs, so we have the rest into defense because I'm scared of things like Incineroar and like Chestnut hitting me. I guess I'm not really scared of Chestnut hitting me, but you get the drift. So next up is Dyrus, our Rotom Heat. This is kind of our check to Scizor. We have Overheat, Volt Switch, Light Screen, and Pain Split on here with leftovers. I decided to bring a screen this week because things like Landorus kind of tear through teams if you're not careful. Things like Jolteon, Specs Jolteon tears through teams if you're not careful. Necrozma tears through teams if you're not careful, and Alakazam can tear through the teams if you're not careful. I also kind of have an Alakazam weakness this week, so rocking the light screen just to live hits a little bit better. I know it's kind of weird that it's a Scizor check, but I have light screen, but realistically, it's a Scizor check because I have overheat. I don't think he stays in with Scizor and Rotom Heat ever. I think it's a poor play on his part if he's staying in with Mega Scizor and Rotom, so I'm mostly going to be clicking Volt Switch. He does have one ground type in Landorus Incarnate. If that's not brought or it's dead, then I get free Volt Switches off for days. Especially because Tapu Fini, I need to Volt Switch out on that thing because I can't live a Surf. So max HP, max speed, Timid lets us outspeed Tapu Fini. I think it's really important that we can actually outspeed Tapu Fini with this set. If he brings Scarf Tapu Fini, you know, good on him. There goes my Rotom Heat and one of my Scizor checks. But that just gives Manaphy a chance to set up for free. So that's the idea. Next up is Trump Card, our Nidoking. First week that we're bringing Nidoking, obviously since it's the first week we're allowed to use it. We're rocking Choice Scarf, Sheer Force, Flamethrower, Earth Power, Ice Beam, Sludge Wave, just some really good coverage moves. Flamethrower hits the Mega Scizor super effectively, and the Trevenant super effectively, and the Chestnut super effectively. Earth Power hits the Jolteon super effectively, and the Incineroar super effectively. Ice Beam hits the Chestnut, the Trevenant, and the Landorus Incarnate super effectively. And Sludge Wave hits the Tapu Fini and the Chestnut super effectively. I believe that's it. Yeah. 228 speed Modest lets us outspeed Jolteon, which is the fastest thing I could potentially be outspeeding, because in my mind, he's not bringing Scarf Tapu Fini, and the other Scarfers that he could be bringing are already going to outspeed me if they're Scarfed. Okay, max special attack, 20 in HP. I'm not sure why I'm not hitting 160. Probably just because of rocks. Odd value of HP for rocks. We've got the rest in the special defense. To tank things like an Earth Power from a Landorus, maybe a little bit better. Maybe a Psyshock from Alakazam. That's a good point, actually. If he's running Psyshock, then I should put it in defense. But this is okay. This is okay. That's what we're going to roll with Trump Card. Next up is Kakashi, our dedicated lead this week. Running Focus Sash on Burden, Bug Buzz, Spikes, Hidden Power, Fire, Water Shuriken. I actually think that Unburden is a reasonable ability this week because if he's running something Scarfed, and this is like my dedicated lead to get up some Spike Stacks anyways, I will just outspeed the Scarf things like 100%, 1,000,000% of the time. Like, it's ridiculous how fast the Selgor is. I'm so happy that I drafted this thing. It's been a couple of weeks since we've seen a Selgor. I'm not going to lie. I think two weeks since we've seen a Selgor where it picked up a kill on Arcanine with Water Shuriken. But yeah, we're bringing it back. Bug Buzz is really good against his team. It's not blocked by Bulletproof. Bulletproof is not the same as Soundproof. He has a lot of things weak to Bug, like Alakazam and Necrozma are weak to Bug. Chestnut's weak to Bug. And I think Trevenant's weak to Bug. Bug Buzz is also it's going to hit the Incineroar hard because it's neutral. It's going to hit the Jolteon really hard. It's going to hit the Gliscod really hard. Hidden Power Fire is there for the Scizor, which we cannot hit very hard, but I think it could come out turn 1. Water Shuriken is there pretty much just for the Incineroar, but if we need to get off some priority moves, then I'm going to run Water Shuriken. 144 speed Timid lets us outpace Jolteon. I could have run Modest? No, I could not have run Modest to outspeed Jolteon, and it's really important that I do outspeed the Jolteon. As much special attack as we can throw in there, obviously with Hidden Power Fire, again, it's a problem with the IVs. It needs to be an even IV in that spot to be Hidden Power Fire, so we're not getting the most out of our special attack. 169 HP, so we have 108 invested into that so that we can hit an odd number of HP, and 8 in special defense. Just pop the little rest back in there. Next up is Sean, our Mimikyu, pretty much the MVP of every team I draft this thing on. I don't know what it is about Mimikyu. Maybe I'm just really good at using Mimikyu, but this is the most standard set that I've ever brought with Mimikyu. I don't think I've ever brought this exact set before, except laddering, but this is what we're bringing. Life Orb, Swords Dance, Play Rough, Shadow Claw, and Shadow Sneak. Pretty much the standard OU Mimikyu set for all of 2017. So that's the idea. We're rocking Jolly 172 speed, which lets us outspeed Tapu Fini. Max attack, 68 in HP because I wanted to invest enough into HP that we can get more Life Orb hits off, but not enough where we're taking 14 damage from Life Orb. So we're going to be taking 13 damage from Life Orb, but we can potentially have 13 Life Orb hits in us if we played it like that, I guess. The rest into special defense because that's our next highest stat. And last but not least is Sparky, our Mimikyu. Mimikyu, oh my god. No, I just went over Mimikyu. This is our Manaphy. I have the team of M's, guys. Like, it's almost impossible to think about all the M names I have on my team sometimes. But leftovers, Tail Glow, Surf, Energy Ball, Ice Beam. The combination of Surf, Energy Ball, and Ice Beam hits his entire team super effectively, bar Jolteon, bar Hitmonchan. But I don't really care about those. Oh, and Necrozma. And Alakazam. Okay, you know what? We're not hitting the entire team super effectively, alright, I get it. We are hitting everything really hard with Surf that doesn't resist it. Energy Ball hits the Tapu Fini and the Golisopod. Ice Beam hits the Trevenant, the Chestnut, and the Landorus. Surf is probably better to hit the Landorus with, but Ice Beam is going to be enough to hit the Chestnut and the Trevenant with. I'm kind of scared of Jolteon with this because it bodies me. The rest of his team gets absolutely destroyed by this Manaphy set. 140 speed Timid lets us outpace Tapu Fini. He does not have a base 100. He does not have any base 90s. So, speed creeping Tapu Fini is the best thing I can do, which is actually his only base 80 mon. Base 80 or higher mon, too. So, that's what we're doing. Gives us a little more longevity with our bulk. 116 gives us 198, that's wrong, should be 189, and then we'll pop the rest into special defense. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, 108 gives us 108 HP investments, gives us an odd value. Max special attack to boost up our special attack with Tail Glow, so making sure that we are hitting things a little bit harder. And 8 special defense. So, our win cons. Magearna setting up, Manaphy setting up, Nidoking punching holes with Choice Scarf, Rotom potentially getting up a light screen for us to set up behind. Spike stacking at the beginning of the game. Mimikyu setup. I'm bringing 3 setup mons. 2 things that are going to help that a little bit. Things like Magearna. After a Spike, I'm going to start Okoing a lot of things after... after a Spike, to be completely honest. Chestnut is not going to like an ICMZ. Sorry, Jolteon. Jolteon is not going to like an ICMZ after a Spike up, and that gives me a free boost. And then I can potentially sweep from there. He doesn't really have a ton that can deal with Magearna once I'm set up on the speed side and once I have a Soul Heart boost up. Rotom Heat really needs to be my way to deal with Mega Scizor. Nidoking's kind of my way to deal with everything. It's a good Jolteon switch into, besides the fact that he could be running Hidden Power Ice. But once I switch into Jolteon, he literally has nothing. He doesn't have a Steel type. He's got Mega Scizor now. But if he switches into Mega Scizor, he could be fearing like the Flamethrower or something like that. So Life Orb might actually be better on this week, just to change up moves. But I need the speed. I kind of need the speed with Choice Scarf. It's always good to have at least one Scarfer on your team each week. And I think Nidoking fills the role of a Scarfer much better than something like Manaphy would. I've actually been thinking about running Scarf Manaphy. Nobody's listening to me right now, thank God. Been thinking about running Scarf Manaphy, and yeah, that might be a thing that I bring in the future. But pretty solid team. I'm kind of scared of Orzan's team. I was really scared. I'm also kind of mad still that he sniped Lando I from me, but what can I expect? I was going to go for the Magearna Lando I core. But you know what? I'm happy with Manaphy and how it's performed for me this season. And from what I've seen out of Orzan's games, Lando I hasn't really been the solid first overall pick that he wanted it to be. Anyways, yeah, so this is week 7 of the League of Extraordinary Trainers, and I will see you guys for the battle.